Hi. We get a lot of emails asking us questions about living in the RV lifestyle and things like that. And we got one recently from Amy and Kyle. Hi guys, how you doing? We thought it would be better to just make a video response. That way, any of the questions that Amy and Kyle had, other people might benefit from the responses.
Yeah, we get a lot of the same questions. So Amy and Kyle are planning to sell their house and move into an RV because they're crazy like us. What's their first question?
One of the questions they were asking was about, since getting back on the road, how has it been making an income? Amy's worried about her internet skills and wondering if there's any other ways to make money on the road.
Well, a lot of people do use the internet for making money, especially the younger folk. Making websites, doing photoshopping, there's lots of different things, graphic design, excuse me. But it's not, you don't have to necessarily just do internet-based work. You can do work camping, like a lot of people do. I think with us, our biggest hurdle right now is making enough money to get rid of our debt. Mm-hmm. We are trying to get our monthly income past our monthly expenses. So, and we're very basic people. We don't have a whole lot of expenses, but I went to college.
Yeah, we both went to college, and to give you an example, like I have, my student loans are about $300 a month. Hers are about $150, and I got some child support things and for Donovan and things like that. So
we have our phones.
Right.
I think the main goal for young RVers or new RVers getting into this is to limit your monthly budget as much as possible. And if that means turning off your internet and your cable, then do it. Use the library. I mean, if this is something that you're passionate about and this is something that you want to see the country, then do it and make some sacrifices.
And, you know, to get back to the income side of it, you mentioned something about work camping, and work camping is definitely a viable option as long as your expenses are low. You don't make a whole lot of money work camping, but if your bills are low, you don't have a lot of debt to pay off, it's perfectly viable option. You know, it'll pay your bills. You know, you just gotta make sure that you have a really good nest egg built up to help you with any troubles like a transmission going out.
Or a wheel falling off, and then another one falling off, or
right.
Things like that. They happen, but just like in a house, things happen to your house. Your AC can go out. You know, you have to be prepared for that. And the best ways, in my opinion, is to just limit your expenses. If you think, is this product I'm about to buy gonna help me in the long run to my goal? And a lot of times you'll put it back. So just keep the main goal in mind, and you will easily get on the road easily. The next question she had was, what is our experience on work camping?
Well,
something similar to that, but
yeah, which we just talked a lot about. Yeah. But I mean, basically, like I said, it's not a lot of money. You won't get, don't expect to be rolling in the dough or anything like that. To give an example, we were getting one of them. We were getting our site, and but we had our first 15 hours of the week went to paying for the site. Then everything after that, we made like $7.50 an hour. So if you work a 40-hour week, you'll bring home $100 or $200 per person. So
which is a lot of money if you have no expenses.
Right. I mean, if you're just looking for groceries and gas money, that's great.
And the main point of work camping is to get you in an area where that you want to explore. And our first experience was in South Dakota, and that we had so much to do.
Mm-hmm. And you can't just think about, work camping is just paying for my site. It's also paying for your water, electric, all your utilities. Most of the time they offer cable, internet. Most of the time they give you laundry for free, depending on where you go. So, and even when we were in South Dakota, they gave us like this this worker pass that gave you, like a VIP pass that gave us free into a lot of the attractions. And I'm not saying every place has that, but it was definitely a perk that helped bring our costs down.
Yeah, if you guys want to see the Black Hills, I would recommend going to Crooked Creek. They will work you hard, but the bonuses are awesome.
Okay, one of your next questions was you were asking about, Amy and Kyle have 3 dogs. And they were asking about what is the RV lifestyle with dogs.
RVing with dogs is fine. You can do it very, very easily. Work camping with dogs, depending on how much money you're going to need to make. In our experience, we need to make as much as possible, so we needed to work as much as possible, which we had to leave patients at home.
Well, that's one of the things, is that when you work camp as a couple, they like to put your schedules together. Yeah. So we would work together so we could be off together, which is great, but not so great for the dogs, because that means while you're working, you have 3 dogs sitting in your RV alone.
Terrorizing things. Well, luckily they'll be together, so they won't be alone. I felt so bad leaving patients alone. She did fine. She was an older dog, so that she mostly slept, but work camping can be a little harder to do. Most, let's see, what the next one, the campgrounds, she was asking about dogs and campgrounds.
Oh, right. Like if it costs, more. Most campgrounds are cool with it, and if you're making reservations ahead of time or checking it out through the books, they'll most of the time tell you in there, dog's okay, pet's okay, and they do put a charge sometimes depending on where you stay.
I would say rarely.
Rarely, but if anything, it's anywhere from free to $2 to $5 a night per pet. And the main thing that you want to keep in mind with when keeping pets on campgrounds is just make sure you clean up after them, and
I think if anything, that's where the charge comes. For if they witness you letting your dog poop and not cleaning it up, they might actually charge you. So
right, yeah, I've seen them kick people out because people weren't cleaning up after the pets. Clean up after them, keep them on a leash, and try not to let them bark at every passerby. Yeah.
And even though your dog might be the coolest dog in the world, there's some people that have fears of dogs, so you always keep them on a leash.
Yeah, it's just,
you don't want any trouble.
Do unto others as you would have them do to you. That applies.
The other, I think, is this...
Next question.
Have you met people in your travels making it work?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I could probably say that 90% of the people that we were camped with and came across were retired. And which is great.
That's normal.
It's great, but we did come across several young couples who are full-time RVing and making it work great. And it ranges, because some of them are making their income, doing internet work and consulting and things like that. Some of them have income from their past life coming in, and some of them are living like a more minimalistic style. Like for example, when we were at one place in Sarasota, there was a couple that was younger than us and had been living in an RV full-time longer than us, and they were having a great time with it. I mean, they didn't have any expenses. Yeah, no expenses at all. They lived in a pop-up. Everything was very minimalistic, and they loved it that way. And if you guys are listening, you should email us. yeah, you know who you are. Okay, so yeah, definitely, lots of people out there doing it. You just have to find the niche that works for you. And I just want to touch back on the income thing, because we were talking about internet thing, and then we went into work camping. But there's more out there. I mean, I don't know what your internet capabilities are, like if you're worried about being able to do websites and things like that, or if you have trouble with email, But if you're comfortable a little bit with the internet, there's always things like selling things like on eBay and things like that can give you a supplemental income to help you keep on the road. Okay. Our next question is, you were asking about rig size. Do they give you any troubles if you have too large of a rig, and is it more expensive? The only thing that, and this is, I'm generalizing,
but most campgrounds do not charge for larger rigs. They will charge you more for a pull-through site. So let's say if you had...
Just for a convenience factor.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't like to back their rigs in, and some people can't. Like, if you've got a 40-foot rig and then a 30-foot motorcycle trailer full of motorcycles, it's very hard to back it in, so they just go and pay the extra and do a pull-through.
And sometimes pull-through sites aren't more expensive than back-end sites. It's just an availability thing, because everybody wants the pull-through, because you just pull through, you pull out, no backing required. So.
And they usually have more room around them. They're spaced out more, so sometimes you'll see a pop-up in a pull-through. Like, they just want the extra space.
But as far as discriminating goes, as far as size, price-wise, not really. No, I mean, your person with a 20-foot rig is going to pay the same thing a 35 or 40-foot rig is going to pay in most cases. And I can't speak for every campground out there. But as far as size goes, as being comfortable in the campground world, me personally, my opinion, I think a 30-foot or less is super comfortable. No problems driving something like that around. We're in a 34, 35 right now. I think that's our max. I wouldn't really want to go any bigger than that. Yeah. When you start getting into the 40-foot range, in which they do make them, that's when you go in there and the campground owners start scratching their head thinking, like, where am I going to put this person?
Because their bigger spaces tend to be limited. And the newer campgrounds are probably more accommodating, but things that are smaller campgrounds, or older campgrounds, tend to be a little smaller. Now the norm, the new rigs are humongous, and that's just normal. As for national parks, you're gonna be limited. I think 35 foot is the limit on some of the parks.
Yeah.
So the smaller is better if you're gonna do all that.
And all this info is available before you get there, you know, going through the books and things like that.
I like this size. It's a little big for me, but we're full-timing. You don't want to be in a 20-foot rig and full-time.
With 3 dogs.
With 3 dogs.
Right, right. And, you know, that's...
As much as you love them.
Yeah, yeah. Which, I don't know, the other day when we were at Wickham Park, we saw someone in a...
It was a scamp. It was a little egg.
Yeah, a little scamp, and they had a dog that was bigger than I am.
It was like a horse.
And a cat.
Horse getting out.
Yeah, yeah, but so people can do it.
But I think you're weekenders. I don't think I would ever really want to... Pop-up was the most of my... The smallest. So, let's see. Limit size. Are you towing a small vehicle? Or do you drive the RV everywhere you go? Right.
Well, we haven't got a towed vehicle yet. Towed or dinghy is the terminology for it. Which we definitely want to do. That's actually our next step, and we're shopping in the market right now for one. Because the whole perk of this was that we can drive the Class A with the towed behind, and when we get somewhere, because our plan is to get to a place and then, you know, experience here, soak it in, stay there a good month or two, or, you know, we're not in a rush to get from one place to the next. We really want to take it in. So the whole time that the RV's parked, we can take this more fuel economical vehicle and, you know, run about on our day trips and see the whole area and things like that.
Some people don't have tows, and for us that would, I don't know how they do it, but a lot of people, they just go to major cities so that there's rental cars available, and if they want to go and they'll either get a taxi, like if they want to go do their shopping, they just grab a taxi.
And you know, that's
feasible, but if you want your freedom, then
you got to think, if you don't have a car, or towed, or motorcycle, or whatever, you're probably going to want a car and SUV with the dogs. But I think, I don't know, it's, if you don't have it, that means every time you want to go somewhere, you have to unhook all your hookups and pack everything away, lock everything down before you get on the road, and that's just a pain.
If the motorhome breaks down on the side of the road, you have another vehicle to get you to where you need to go.
Hence the term dinghy. Sort of like a lifeboat.
You're not stranded. So.
Right.
The last one is
last question here. You were asking about Class A versus fifth wheel or a travel trailer. So.
That is a loaded question. Lots of people are wondering. For you guys, because you have 3 dogs, I would suggest a Class A, which is what we're in. Some people like to do the fifth wheel and then keep the dogs or animals in the back in the fifth wheel while they're driving. I don't know if I could, if we still had patience, I don't think I could do that to her. But some people do it, and they say that their dogs, they've even gone as far as hooking up cameras so they can watch them and make sure everything's okay. So. And
with going to the fifth wheel side, fifth wheels are great. They pull great because the pivot point hooks up directly over the rear axle, so it pulls really straight and true. You don't have to worry about sway like you do in a lot of travel trailers and sway bars and things like that. Downside with your dogs is that if you want to keep the dogs with you, while you're going down the road with your rig, that means dogs are going to have to be in the truck with you. So that's 2 people plus 3 dogs in a truck. That can be pretty tight and uncomfortable for everybody. So if I was in your boots, I would definitely take the Class A route, just for the sake of everybody's comfortable. While you're going down the road, the dogs can be in the living area. The other person can be sitting in the back or whatever. And it's all a preference thing.
As for the trailers, travel trailers, TTs, full trailer, personally we don't like them. We pulled the pop-up and had a lot of sway. If the wind picks up, better be watching the forecast for the wind, because you'll be all over the road. And especially, and that was just the pop-up. If you were in a travel trailer, I'm sure...
Well, the extra weight would, level you out a little bit more,
But also bigger, acts like a sail.
Yeah, and, that's just our personal preference. Travel trailers are great, but, my personal preference is Class A or C, then the fifth wheel, then the travel trailers. That's the route I go.
So thank you very, very much for your questions, Amy and Kyle. And you guys... Everybody else out there, feel free to give us emails. Like I said, these are questions that we get a lot, and we just wanted to let you know.
And while we're here, like I said before, our next step is the towed vehicle, and we're looking for something along the lines of like a Chevy Tracker, Isuzu Amigo, Suzuki Sidekick, one of the little SUVs with like the tops that come in the back down.
Our motorhome says that it will pull 3,500 pounds, but we're trying to stay way under that.
Yeah, most of the trackers and stuff hit around 2,500 pounds, which, if we can get lower we can, but we just really like that style of vehicle. And, we don't have a lot of experience with tows and everything, with the hookups involved and everything. So if anybody's got any feedback on which route they would go, cheap, expensive.
Or horror stories, anything that you've bought and then tried to tow and was not towable, please let us know, because we are complete newbies at the towing a toad. So.
Well, guys, I hope this answered your question, and anybody else out there who might have a similar question. And so
you can email us at travelingontheoutskirts@gmail.com or visit our website, travelingontheoutskirts.com. There's all kinds of ways to get a hold of us: Twitter, YouTube, everywhere.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next time, Traveling on the Outskirts.
Thank you.